The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are easily the most intriguing team to watch the next time we see real-life NFL football being played. I grew up a Patriots fan, so I never in a million years thought Tom Brady would leave the Patriots, no matter what the reports were suggesting. And my biggest nightmare became a reality when he left this offseason for Tampa Bay. But considering a lot of Patriots players are opting out of returning to play next year, it does make me feel a little bit better about Tom Brady leaving for Tampa. They also got my boy Gronk, and seeing him play football again will be a blast no matter what. And then all the other weapons Tampa has just makes me wonder what exactly this team could do, just like everyone else wants to know. Alright, you like the shirt? Because I gotta rep him now. But I think Tampa Bay probably could make the Super Bowl, definitely could win the Super Bowl, even though Tom Brady turns 43 in August, which I don't really care about because, you know, he's the GOAT. I just think that they're going to be motivated. They seem to be a team that is extremely committed to getting this done, and Brady is trying his best to learn, especially with his new teammates. I know Brady was not great last year, but that one game when they had Antonio Brown versus Miami, you just saw Tom Brady play young again, and it looked like, you know, maybe if he just had a little bit more help, he could probably get to another Super Bowl. And now Brady has two incredible wideouts in Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, so now anything's possible. But for today, I don't want to talk about the future of this team. I know, crazy. I actually want to talk about the guy who's leading the way, which is head coach Bruce Arians. Bruce Arians is one of the coolest, most laid back, and the realest coach you could possibly be in the NFL. I think he really exemplifies exactly what it means to be a football coach, and reminds me of what I always thought a football coach was. Has a loud voice.
Easy, brother. You ain't getting no mouth to mouth around here.
Seems to be really funny but serious.
Was it pretty? Damn right it was pretty.
And everyone can relate to him.
But there's still a lot to be proud of. Thank you.
It's actually not too long ago that Bruce wasn't even an NFL head coach. But today I wanted to talk about why I think Bruce Arians is the coolest coach in the NFL to work for, why I think he's a critical part of getting the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to the Super Bowl. Bruce Arians was a former high school quarterback that played college football at Virginia Tech. Now, Coach played in the wishbone, so he didn't really get to show off his arm back in the 70s, but after his playing career, he then became a grad assistant at Tech, before getting his first coaching opportunity at Mississippi State. After State, he coached running backs under Bear Bryant at Alabama, before becoming the head coach at Temple. From 1983 through 1988, Bruce Arians was the head coach of the Owls, and had a 27-39 record overall in 6 years. Paul Palmer was his running back that was a Heisman runner-up in 1986, but that team's records were later forfeited because he signed with an agent before the season. So after Temple, Arians went to the NFL, the Chiefs running back coach for 3 seasons, then returned to Mississippi State to be their offensive coordinator. Then he went back to the NFL and was the Saints tight ends coach. And then he went back to Alabama and was their offensive coordinator. After Bama, he became the Colts QB coach in 1998, was Peyton Manning's first QB coach in the NFL. In 2001, Bruce went on to Cleveland and was Butch Davis's offensive coordinator, and was a part of their last playoff team. And finally, after that, Bruce went to Pittsburgh to team up with his former co-worker in Kansas City, Bill Cowher, and was the Steelers wide receiver coach from 2004 to 2006, and then was promoted to offense coordinator in 2007. In his time with the Pittsburgh Steelers, they won 2 Super Bowls versus the Seahawks and the Cardinals, and Bruce was there until 2011. But then he was let go because of how he constructed his offense and how Big Ben took a lot of hits. People just didn't like his offense. So after Pittsburgh, Arians had the most eye-opening coaching experience of his career, and it was when Chuck Pagano hired Bruce Arians to become his offensive coordinator in 2012 with the Colts that everyone in the NFL wanted to make Bruce Arians their head coach. 2012, the Colts had just drafted Andrew Luck, and expectations were low but optimistic. And during the season, Chuck Pagano was diagnosed with leukemia, and Arians had to take over as head coach. That team started the year 1-2, but finished 9-3, and Arians had most wins ever by an interim coach, and the Colts made the playoffs after being the worst team in the NFL in 2012. Sadly, Bruce was hospitalized before their playoff game with the Ravens, so he missed out, but still won Coach of the Year, and after this season, he was the hottest head coach on the market, and the Arizona Cardinals were lucky enough to get him, and when the Cardinals got him, they won 10 games in 2013, but 2014 they made the playoffs, winning 11 games and starting 9-1. Carson Palmer was doing great and revived his career, but injuries ruined their season, and they would lose their first game of the playoffs, but Bruce Arians won head coach of the year. 2015, the Cardinals were back in the playoffs and arguably had the best season in franchise history, winning 13 games, beating the Packers in the playoffs, but losing to the Panthers in the NFC Championship. After this, however, Bruce Arians battled his own demons. 2016-2017, the Cards won only 7 and 8 games, and then he retired as head coach after 2017 due to health concerns. His wife was ready for him to retire, so she left him to move to their home in Georgia. So Bruce spent 2018 calling games for CBS, and he didn't like how long he was gone, and even though people wanted him in Cleveland to coach the Browns, they never called, but his former co-worker in Arizona, Bucks GM Jason Light, called and wanted Bruce to come in. And 2019 was Bruce's year back in the league, and the Bucks actually had a great year and went 7-9, which was a huge improvement from the previous years, even though Jameis Winston and didn't perform like he was supposed to when he was drafted, he did have a pretty good year considering he couldn't even see the field because of his vision. Now entering the wild 2021 season, the Bucs have Tom Brady and Bruce Arians has the best QB he will ever have. Yeah, his high-flying offense isn't what Brady is good at. That doesn't mean they can't adapt and create something that works for the both of them. And now with that, I wanted to hand the video over to my friend Darren from J&D Productions to give you a rundown on the background of Bruce Arians. Darren and I both grew up Patriots fans, obviously, and we wanted to both give you a rundown of Bruce Arians, who's now Tom Brady's new Bill Belichick.
Bruce Arians is one of the coolest dudes in the NFL. He's known as a football guy's guy. If Belichick is the guy that wears cut-off hoodies, then Bruce is the guy known for wearing a Kangol hat. Bruce Arians is not only a two-time Coach of the Year in the NFL, but he is also a three-time cancer survivor and is someone who fears nothing. They call him the quarterback whisperer, and his career overall is one where he's been with the best quarterback in the NFL. He was with Peyton Manning when he entered the league, he helped take off Ben Roethlisberger's career, he was there for Andrew Luck's rookie season, he helped revive Carson Palmer's career, and honestly, he won 7 games with Jameis Winston, which is definitely an achievement. His philosophy is simple: no risk it, no biscuit. He wants his guys to play without fear. He wants you to make mistakes, and he really hates conservative coaching, and you can see that by the way his teams play. He really wants his defense off the field to give them the perfect amount of time to rest to keep them at their highest production level. When it comes to coaching his players and coaches, Bruce is someone who actually prepares his assistants to become head coaches and not just expect them to just coach their position players. For example, he has given up play calling and designing of practice scripts to his offensive coordinator Byron Leftwich to help him learn how to become more than a play caller. Bruce gives time off for his coaches. He drinks with his guys after games. He will even fire you if you miss your kid's event because that has been his biggest regret during his coaching career, and he wants his guys to know they can't miss these events, but you can always come in the office early or stay late.
Thank you, Darren, and after the video, please check out him and Jackson. The link is in the description below. You guys will love their channel. They're awesome. So not only does he want to be there for you as a man, but Bruce is also one of the best coaches when it comes to creating opportunities the right way. I feel like he does a great job at creating opportunities for minorities because he hires people that he is close to and are the right men for the job. Harold Goodwin is Bruce's assistant head coach and run game coordinator and worked with Bruce in Pittsburgh, Indiana, and Arizona. Todd Bowles did one of the best jobs last year coaching the defense for the Bucs and was a head coach of the Jets. And him and Bruce have great chemistry together. Byron Leftwich is Bruce's offense coordinator and Bruce's former QB in Pittsburgh and has given him a lot of responsibility when it comes to play calling. And finally, Keith Armstrong is the Bucs special teams coordinator and played for Bruce at Temple and was recently the Falcons special teams coordinator for the past 10 seasons before Tampa Bay. I also think he's a great guy overall because he takes into consideration what his QB does and doesn't want to run, will actually listen to them, and he is known to socialize with his players more than other coaches and will be a guy that drinks with his guys after the game. So that's Bruce Arians for you. He is really one of the cool guys in this sport and is someone I think everyone would love to work for. His coaching record speaks for itself, and I hope that Tom Brady can help win him a championship. He deserves it more than anyone, especially with everything that he's been through.